You're over 50. You train, you eat well, and you're still losing muscle. Why? And more importantly, what can you actually do about it? Today we're talking about one compound that most people your age overlook completely. And honestly, that's a mistake. Because somewhere along the way, this supplement got labeled a young lifter's thing. Something for gym bros in their 20s chasing bigger biceps. That label is wrong, and the science has been quietly proving it for years. Here's what's actually true. After 50, your body faces a very specific set of challenges. Muscle holds on a little less tightly. Energy in your cells isn't quite as sharp. Recovery takes a beat longer than it used to, not as a quick fix, but as a compound with decades of research behind it. And the evidence specifically for people over 50 is genuinely compelling. No myths, no marketing, just the honest, straightforward science. And I think you'll walk away genuinely surprised. Let's get into it. Point 1. The real goal after 50. Let's start with something that looks different depending on who you are. If you're a woman over 50, the goal has likely shifted. It's less about pushing harder and more about feeling strong, capable, and energized in your body. Keeping what you've built, moving well, staying independent. If you're a man over 50, you still want to perform. You still want strength that shows up when it matters. Not just maintenance, but real, functional power that keeps you competitive, active, and sharp. Here's the good news. Creatine works for both. It supports your ATP system. Think of ATP as your body's internal battery. Every time your muscles fire, whether you're pressing a weight overhead, taking the stairs, or simply pushing yourself up from the sofa, they drain that battery in seconds. Creatine helps recharge that battery faster, so your muscles have more power available when you need it most. For women, that means better muscle preservation and more productive workouts. For men, it means more output, better recovery, and strength that doesn't quietly fade year by year. Either way, creatine gives your body more to work with, at the cellular level, where it actually counts. Point 2. Recovery. Now let's talk about recovery, because this is where most people over 50 quietly give up. You train, you feel it for 2 days, sometimes 3, and somewhere in the back of your mind you start wondering, is this still worth it? It is, but your body needs more support than it did before. Here's what's happening. After 50, your muscle cells take longer to replenish their energy stores after a hard effort. The soreness lingers, the fatigue stacks up, and if recovery is slow, consistency suffers. For women, this often shows up as exhaustion that feels disproportionate. You did a moderate workout, but your body reacts like you ran a marathon. For men, it's more subtle. The weights feel heavier than last week. The motivation dips. You start spacing out your sessions without realizing it. Creatine helps speed up that cellular recovery process. Not dramatically, but meaningfully. Enough that your next session feels like a step forward, not a struggle just to get back to baseline. That consistency? That's where the real results live. Point 3. Water retention. The myth. Let's address the elephant in the room, because the moment most people hear creatine, one word comes up immediately: water retention. And honestly, that reputation has kept a lot of people over 50 away from something that could genuinely help them. Here's the truth. Yes, creatine draws water into your muscle cells, but that's not bloating. That's biology working in your favor. For women, this is often the biggest concern. Nobody wants to feel puffy or heavier on the scale after starting something new. But this isn't the kind of water that sits under your skin. It's intracellular, inside the muscle, where it actually improves performance and protects muscle tissue. For men, that same cellular hydration translates directly into fuller, more resilient muscles, the kind that recover faster and hold up better under load. The slight weight increase some people notice when starting creatine is not fat gain. It's your muscle cells drawing in water, a process called cellular hydration. This is actually a sign that creatine is working as intended. Hydrated muscle cells repair faster, contract more efficiently, and are better protected against breakdown. For anyone over 50 who is resistance training, this is not a side effect to fear. It's a physiological advantage. As with any supplement, if you have pre-existing kidney conditions or other health concerns, please consult your doctor before starting creatine. Hydrated muscle is healthy muscle. Full stop. Point 4. Brain function. Here's one that surprises most people, and it's one of the most exciting areas of current research. Creatine doesn't just work in your muscles, it works in your brain. Remember that internal battery we talked about? Your brain runs on the same system. And just like your muscles, cognitive energy, the kind that keeps you sharp, focused, and mentally clear, can start to feel less reliable after 50. For women over 50, this often shows up around perimenopause and beyond. Brain fog. Words that don't come as quickly. That frustrating feeling of walking into a room and forgetting why. For men, it's subtler, a slight dip in mental sharpness, focus, or mood that gets quietly blamed on stress or sleep. Early research suggests creatine may support cognitive function by helping maintain energy availability in the brain. It's not a memory pill, it's not a cognitive enhancer in the dramatic sense, but sharper energy, better focus, a mind that keeps up with your body. After 50, a sharper mind and a stronger body moving together, that's not a bonus, that's the whole point. Point 5. Creatine only works if you work. Let's talk about something nobody warns you about when you start getting serious about your health after 50. Creatine only works if you work. It sounds obvious, but it's worth saying clearly, because the supplement industry has spent decades selling the idea that something in a jar can replace the effort you put in. It can't, and creatine is no different. Think back to that internal battery we talked about. Creatine helps recharge it faster. But if you're not actually draining it, if you're not training, not challenging your muscles, not showing up consistently, there's nothing to recharge. For women, that means strength training matters. Not extreme, not exhausting, but intentional. 2 to 3 sessions a week where your muscles are genuinely being asked to work. For men, it means staying in the game, not coasting on past fitness. Creatine amplifies the effort you're putting in right now, not the effort you put in 10 years ago. Creatine is the wind behind your sails, but you still have to steer the boat. Point 6. Protein, the missing partner. If creatine is the battery, protein is the building material. And after 50, most people simply aren't thinking about either one seriously enough. Creatine is off the radar for most. We've already established that. But protein? Most people assume they're getting enough. Here's what the research actually shows. After 50, your body becomes less efficient at using the protein you eat. The technical term is anabolic resistance. Your muscles need more of the signal to respond the same way. Think of it like this. When you were 30, your muscles heard a whisper and responded. After 50, they need you to speak a little louder. For women, aim for around 20 to 25 grams of protein after training. That could be a Greek yogurt with some nuts, or 2 eggs with cottage cheese. For men, aim for 30 to 35 grams of protein after training. That could be a chicken breast, a protein shake with milk, or a solid portion of salmon. That combination, steady creatine, adequate protein, regular training, is the real formula after 50. Not complicated, just consistent. Creatine doesn't work the same for everyone. Age, training history, diet, they all influence how your body responds. And there are specific situations where creatine should be approached with caution. So before you start, bring it up with your doctor or pharmacist. They can look at your individual health picture and tell you exactly what makes sense for you. Because when it's the right fit, creatine supports muscle energy, speeds up recovery, and may even sharpen cognitive function. The evidence for adults over 50 is genuinely compelling.